Our next film is the 2006 Dutch thriller Black Book from director Paul Verhoeven, who has made a number of hit action films like Total Recall, the original RoboCop, and Basic Instinct. And let me just say this is a great movie. It's about a Jewish singer named Rachel Stein, who at the tail end of World War II, her hiding place is bombed, and she, along with her family, tries to make an escape for neutral Belgium, but they run into some bad luck, and the Nazis find them, and everyone but her is murdered. She ends up going to work for the Dutch resistance, and her assignment is to seduce a Nazi commander. Trouble arises when they fall for each other, and she ends up being accused of betrayal by both the resistance and the Nazis. This is a great movie for so many reasons. The acting is exceptional. Paul Verhoeven proves himself to be a master storyteller. He knows exactly how to handle all these really complex, scenes and story elements. It's got a lot of suspense, some humor. It's erotic, and the plot is totally unpredictable. And it's a great movie. There are two flaws with this movie. One is that it's presented, the majority of the film is presented as a flashback, and there's really no, compelling reason to do so. However, the story is so good that you almost forget about that. And there's one scene at the very end where everything is explained that is not very well written, but these are very, very small blemishes. I give it a 3.5 out of 4.
Okay. I agree with your points. I didn't like it quite as much as you. It's a 3 out of 4 for me, which is still a strong recommendation. But I felt like certain elements of it were rushed. There's so much happening in the film, but certain things between relationships and plot points felt so rushed to me that they didn't come across then is realistic, or the motivations.
For example,
here.
Okay.
For example, the relationship between the two main actors, I felt like they showed no her having no conflict. With being in the relationship. I realized she was there to do a job, so to speak, but at the same time she watched her family be slaughtered, and there wasn't. I felt like I felt that whole element was rushed to move on to the next thrilling, twist, the thing that was going to.
Well, the guy that she falls in love with is not the one who murdered everyone on the boat.
I realize, okay, but he's still a Nazi, the head Nazi,
right?
In charge.
And that's true. And I'll defend that to this degree. Paul Verhoeven has never been, shy about nudity or overt violence. His films are always very, very graphic, very violent, and very sexual. That hasn't changed here, but he has his actors do a lot of acting with their eyes and with their bodies, and so they communicate a lot with that sort of body language. And I don't think you're giving Rachel enough credit. She's very smart. She's able to think quickly. She's able to use all of her wiles to get what she wants in order to stay alive. And she's willing to do whatever it takes to do that. So,
but at the same time, a real romance is. They're supposed to have a real romance.
Yes.
Where they care about each other.
Yeah. Could it have used a few more scenes of development for the romance to work? Yes. But remember, this is a 2.5 hour long movie. This is not a short movie. It's got a lot of ground to cover. Right. And I think it does a very, very good job of covering so much ground. And one thing I really like about this story is that the stakes change. In a lot of movies, even the best ones, the whole movie is about accomplishing one specific goal. That's not the case here. Things keep changing that are characters changing their minds. Events happen that are out of everyone's control, and that adds, a freshness to the way how this movie keeps moving. It's not just going towards one specific goal. I mean, obviously her goal is to stay alive. Duh. Yeah. But the focus keeps shifting, and I really like that. And so few movies even try for that, much less pull it off. And I think this movie really does that. So I really enjoy this movie. I think it's the best World War II movie after, well, obviously Schindler's List, but Saving Private Ryan and Dunkirk, which I like more than you did, but never mind. I really, really love this movie. It's one of the few foreign films that, subtitle, people should check out because it's just that awesome.
I feel like is a thriller. It works absolutely great. I feel the other reason I had deducted half a star was because I felt like he wanted to say more. He wanted to say something about hypocrisy and there's a few, and I just felt like those fell flat for me. They didn't work as well. I'm going back again to that relationship. I feel like, especially when you had the part where, give me the name of her love interest, Rachel's.
God, Munsa.
Okay, Munsa. Yes. When he trusts her to the point where he puts everything on the line in this confrontation without giving it away. And again, I feel like he not feeling the connection that they had developed,
right?
This romance and not just a relationship of convenience.
Right, you didn't feel the chemistry between them.
Yeah, and so that hurt me for that to happen so quickly because he had that trust in her. And then, after that, it's like everything's just like moving so quickly.
Yeah.
It's highly entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm recommending this film.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'm just saying it's not without its flaws.
Yeah.
It's not without its flaws.
I won't claim it's flawless, but this movie is like...
It was entertaining, and because I had to stop in a few parts and kind of, think about it and stuff, so it took me out a little bit. I can't give it quite as a strong recommendation, but it's a very good film.
Yeah.
It's one of his best, and and we like to say on here, don't let the
subtitles
scare you.
Yeah, this is not an art house film at all.
No. I think that's what everyone thinks when they hear foreign language.
Yeah. That's not the case here.
Unless you have, as long as you don't have a 13-inch, you'll forget you're reading the dialogue. Film.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of good foreign films do, and this one doesn't. One thing that I have to mention is that Paul Verhoeven has a great sense of respect for this material and balance. Like, he's dealing with some very heavy material, the Holocaust and espionage, and he's structured within a sense of thriller. But at no point do you ever get the sense that he's like exploiting the material. He treats it very respectfully, and that's something that is very difficult to pull off. Roberto Benigni did it in Life is Beautiful. Quentin Tarantino did it in Inglourious Basterds, which is an amazing accomplishment. But this movie, deals with so much difficult material, and it does it so well. And I think Paul Verhoeven should be given extra points for that, because this is a great movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'll say the scene that's an exception for that to me is the prison scene, which is very difficult
to watch. Yes,
to watch, and also because again I feel like that was playing into his wanting to have that deeper meaning where you have other people, and so I felt like I didn't want to see that partly because it was hard to watch, but also because I felt like it wasn't necessary. I didn't feel like I felt like that again was too rushed of a thing where you have all these
right.
like everyone there is horrible, and then all of a sudden all these good people come in to save the day there. So, but again, it's a minor complaint. It's a thriller. It's great, and
it's a lot of fun.
I recommend it. 3 stars for me.